Hello, my name is Carlo, and welcome back to another Spice and Wolf episode review. Okay, episode 14. We're finally in season 2, the third arc. And this episode covers chapter 1 of volume 3 of the light novel. No manga equivalent this time, with the manga deciding to skip over this arc. But let's get into the episode. So this episode starts off with Holo and Lawrence traveling to the next town, Kumerson. And on their way, they talk about Lawrence talks about how Holo's appearance and how she looks like a nun. And Holo talks about some of Lawrence's knightly qualities and his unrivaled kindness. And she also appreciates how he's treated her throughout their journey so far, and that she still wants to be cherished. And then we get the new opening, and let's talk about it for a little bit. First off, the singer, Aimer. I really liked a lot of her recent stuff. And I think her voice fits Spice and Wolf really well. And the song does go with season 2's vibe, or these other 12 episodes vibe. And the first visual shows some volume 4 stuff. And throughout the opening, we see a lot of stuff we never got to see in the original because they skipped over volume 4. And the opening shows some of those moments from volume 4. I was kind of scared that they wouldn't cover volume 4, but I'm very glad they did. And it's cool seeing Elsa animated. Can't wait to see what they do with her, and I wonder what her voice sounds like. There's probably a lot more I can say about this opening, like this scene. I really like it, but I'll save that for a later date. So then after the opening plays, Holo smells some fish and some merchants transporting fish to what we assume to be Kumerson. And then we have our first meeting with Amarty. And Lawrence and Amarty talk about the upcoming festival at Kumerson. And Amarty asks Lawrence what merchant company he's from. And they're luckily a part of the same one. And after that, Amarty seems to be enchanted by Holo, and I can't really blame him. And Amarty is able to get them an inn in Kumerson at a lower price than usual. So then they finally get to Kumerson, and they get to the inn. And these beds remind me of the beds at Karub. And Lawrence gets a letter about the armor crash from the march the church funded. And that information is just now getting to him, but it's too late now to save him, so that's why he's laughing about it. And it seems that Holo can't read this, which will come up later. And then after that, we see Amarty being a little nervous before Lawrence and Holo come to thank him for the room he got them. This little transition here says everything, with Holo's whole demeanor changing from a pretty nice town girl to straight to eating like a wolf would. And while they're eating, Lawrence starts speaking about Amarty and how young he is. And Holo says that his wares are better than Lawrence's. And she thinks Lawrence has lost some flair from the Rubenhagen incident. And while drinking, Holo brings up that taste and the smell of things are unforgettable, and that the wine is similar to the one from Yoitz. And because of this, Lawrence remembers all the way back to episode 7 where he heard that Yoitz had probably been destroyed. And there's this little difference here. In the novel, it says since Lawrence and Holo started traveling together, he kept this concealed. But in the remake here, he only finds out about this in episode 7, going to Rubenhagen, that Yoitz was destroyed, which is pretty recent. And I think I like this change more, rather than Lawrence hiding this information ever since the start of them traveling together. And in the novel, it kind of feels like it's out of nowhere, but I'm really glad they decided to do this. Moving on to the next day, Holo has a severe hangover from drinking so much wine last night. And while she's resting up, Lawrence goes out to meet a old friend of his, Mark, a town merchant. And Lawrence sells some nails to him. And after that, Lawrence and Mark talk about the benefits of being a town merchant and the benefits or the pros and cons of being a traveling merchant. Mark says he's liked being able to settle down, but sometimes he's missed being a traveling merchant. And then a few hours later, Holo still wants to drink more wine even after getting a hangover, probably because the wine tastes so good and it reminds her of Yoit. So then Lawrence asks Holo in what general direction would Yoit be, and any town names that she remembers. One of them being Nyohira, and Yoit's would be southeast. Lawrence says that might be a little too far, and he brings up, or he asks the question, if she'd be able to reach Yoit's on her own after they get to Nyohira. And you see Holo's a little taken aback by this, and Lawrence regrets what he just said. And Holo says she's forgotten the obvious with the way she thinks, or the way she perceives things, and that because Lawrence is so kind, she's really forgotten. And she decides to go to bed. In the novel, Lawrence thinks she could have just packed up and left. While he says that, he thinks that is kind of unthinkable, but she could, but it's entirely likely that she could still do that. And Lawrence is kind of angry at himself that he was so powerless to help her. And that's where the episode ends. And then we have the new ending. Now, I haven't heard the lyrics just yet, but I don't really think the song fits Spice and Wolf, even though I do like it. I do have to listen to it a little bit more though. Of course, I like the visuals with Ayakura Sensei's illustrations. There's a lot on just this tree right here. Amari reaching for Holo's fox scarf, some birds behind and beside Diana, and some volume 4 characters too. So visually, I do think I like this ending more than the first one. Song-wise, I do think the first ending is better. Oh yeah, and the original openings and endings, I do think those are better. Like Perfect World, Mitsu no Yoake, that one being my favorite Spice and Wolf opening. But let me re-go over some of the episode. We heard some new soundtracks in the middle of this. Definitely when Amarty appeared. I still really like this one where they're talking. I like this first scene a lot more than I did in the original now too. Ami Koshimizu is still very, very good at voice acting Holo. I really can't imagine anyone else. The animation was pretty similar. I like the way the town looks. But I think I'm going to end today's review here. Another really good episode. Can't wait to see some Volume 4 stuff, and can't wait to see what they do with Volume 3. But tune in next time to see what happens next week.